Gaurav Sawant is getting us more details on that story. He's been tracking that relentlessly. Joins us from the capital city of Kiev right now. Gaurav, the Ukrainians in Kyiv essentially are talking about how Kyiv is never really going to fall. Russians will never get their hands on Kyiv essentially, even though several reports seem to be suggesting gruesome war crimes in Kyiv as civilians are being targeted repeatedly. Talk to us a little about these developments where civilians in fact have come under attack from the Russians.
At this point of time, the India Today team is reporting from the Bucha district, and this is where the Russians were well entrenched till just 4 days ago. They have retreated from where we are. We are currently in the Bucha district. This is Irpin and Bucha. 90% of Irpin and Bucha till about 3 to 4 days back were in Russian control. But after the Russians announced that they were moving back and de-escalating as a goodwill gesture, it's the Ukrainian forces that are regaining this territory. But as of now, mine clearance operations are underway in this area. The Ukrainian army, the bomb disposal squad and the mine clearance engineers currently are going house to house clearing mines in this area. An occasional explosion is diffusing those mines that are found, and there are both anti-personnel and anti-tank mines being found in this Bucha district where we are. There are no civilians in this area. We'll try and move. Of course, you know, there is a bandwidth issue in this area, but we will try and show you where we are. In these houses, each and every one of these houses, you know, there are no civilians in this area. All of them have abandoned this place because of the intense fighting and shelling that was taking place. This checkpoint at the entrance of the Bucha district does have some army personnel deployed here. There are anti-tank mines still on the road. They haven't been removed just as yet. But this Bucha district becomes extremely crucial and significant because this is where the Russian forces have gone back and the Ukrainian forces are now taking control and digging in for the long haul, because there still is apprehension that the Russian retreat could well be tactical and they could reorganize themselves. But before the Russians reorganize themselves and come back to this area or think of coming back to this area, the Ukrainian forces have not only moved in, but they've turned their defenses around. So far, you know, they were holding on to territory, holding on to Kyiv, but now those defenses are moving further up and they intend to take it all the way initially up to Chernobyl and then all the way up to the Belarus border. So this is how the Ukrainian forces in Kyiv, in Irpin and Bucha are now retaking territory for their defense.
Also, limping back to normalcy is what we understand from many reports essentially, Gaurav, including yours and also Rajesh Pawar, who's been sending us up to speed with that, on how restaurants have been opening up. People are coming back, going back to their homes. Give us an idea about that as well, Gaurav.
In Kyiv, people are returning to their homes and in numbers. Those who had fled to nearby villages, those who had fled to Lviv, those who'd gone outside the country are also coming back from Poland, but they're still apprehensive. But those who are here, for example, in Irpin and Bucha, they are yet to return. In fact, they have been told not to return by the mayor of this place for at least another couple of days, if not weeks, because more than 55% homes in this area are completely shattered, damaged and destroyed. There is no electricity, there is no water, there is no gas supply. That's been very severely impacted. So it will take weeks to restore that. And once that is restored, then the task will begin of restoring homes and only then people can return. So as of now, it's only the emergency workers, the aid workers. For example, there are still some people who require attention. So if you notice, there are ambulances and medical vehicles that keep going in with supplies. army personnel keep going in, there is rotation of troops happening in this area. And apart from rotation of troops, what is also significant is this was territory, if you'd recall last week when we were reporting from here, there's a bridge here that lies shattered, and that bridge had been blown up to ensure that the Russian forces do not advance into Kyiv. That bridge also now needs to be restored and more supplies go into this area. So civilians are back in Kyiv. They're returning to Kyiv because they are far more confident on day 38 of this conflict that Kyiv is very well fortified, Kyiv is very well defended. But places like Irpin and Bucha, like you see this military vehicle that's coming in, these are bomb disposal teams that constantly go in and come back, and diffuse the explosives that are found. So no civilians in this area behind us where you still hear explosions because of mines being diffused. In fact, when we go in, there is a safe lane that is designated. You can only travel in the designated safe lane because there could be either anti-personnel mines which could impact you, or anti-tank mines which could impact vehicles that are on these roads, that explode on impact when pressure is put at of tanks. So that is where this is not very safe for civilian movement just as yet. Sneha.
Gaurav, thanks for getting us those details. Be safe, Gaurav. We'll of course keep coming back to you for more on that. As Russia's onslaught on Ukraine continues, India Today's Geeta Mohan went to the last checkpost bordering Marinka, where a fierce ground combat has been on for weeks now. She met special forces deployed there for cleaning operation. She also spoke to some of the locals who blame the Western countries for the chaos. Listen in to this exclusive.
This is the last checkpost beyond which nobody's allowed to go, because that's where Marinka is, and a fierce fight is underway right now. It's not just the mortar shelling that you're hearing, but also man-to-man combat, gun battle that's underway. So a lot of security presence and not being allowed to go. But civilians over here who live in the villages, for them life is difficult. They stop here at the last bus and then walk down across this checkpost to go to their homes. They've not left their homes, but if you see the flags over here, the DPR Russian flags in tatters, clearly shows the kind of damage that has been done over here in this area. And it is worse in the areas that we'll be going to, where the fierce battle is underway. They have been using mortar shells over here. This is a rocket propelled grenade, the RPG 122 mortar, 82 mortar. So all of this are the remnants of action that we've seen on both sides. This is Ukrainian side shooting down and shelling the Russian side. With journalist Satya Rautre at the checkpost near Marinka, Geeta Mohan for India Today. We are here in Trudovsky, which is where fierce fight is underway between this area and Marinka, which is where the Ukrainian forces are placed. He's commanding the area over here, the officer Yevgeny. Many thanks for speaking to us. There is an operation that he just conducted. What's the plan of action, and how are they conducting operations over here? Man-to-man gun battle and combat that's underway?
Так, вопрос такой, как проходит бой, как вы управляете, какие трудности, и правда ли то, что здесь идет бой лицом к лицу?
Да, бои здесь сложные, намного сложнее, чем в Волновахе были. Здесь Маринка — это один большой целый укрепрайон. Постоянно натыкаемся на какие-то преграды. Укрепрайоны подходят постоянно к ним пополнения. Но мы с успехом их разбиваем. А управление происходит, как говорится, по радиосвязи, посыльными, как придется.
Okay, so he said Ukrainians built a huge construction to keep on that positions. They were building it for long.
They fortified the entire area.
They fortified the position there, and it's very hard battles going on. It's much harder than other cities he was.
Also, is it important because a lot of shelling is happening from there into these areas, into Trudovsky?
Вопрос такой, важно ли то, что они захватить эту территорию, так как отсюда ведется огонь по Донецку?
Да, это немаловажно захватить, потому что ближе лежащие районы Донецка очень сильно обстреливаются. Мирные дома, они стреляют не по позициям, стреляют по мирным жителям. Буквально вчера попало в 9-этажку, 2 этажа снесло, там, где непосредственно живут мои родственники.
So his relatives living in the neighbor district here in Donetsk. So the Ukrainians can shoot from Marinka to that places, and his relatives' house was hit not long time ago here. So it will help to stop fire the civilian area in Donetsk.
यहाँ पे जो ये स्पेशल फोर्सेस के ऑफिसर है, कमांडिंग ऑफिसर है ट्रुडोव्स्की के एरिया के ऑफिसर येवगेनी, वो कह रहे हैं कि मरिंका जो है, जो बिल्कुल सटा हुआ है जहां पे अभी यूक्रेनियन फोर्सेस है, वो बहुत स्ट्रेटेजिकली इंपॉर्टेंट है लेना। उन्हें अभी आर्मर्ड व्हीकल 3 गुना ज्यादा, जितने यूक्रेनियन फोर्सेस वहां पर हैं उसे 3 गुना ज्यादा ट्रूप्स की जरूरत है यहाँ पे, ताकि वो मरिंका को ले पाए। और ये भी कह रहे हैं कि उनको सप्लाई, सपोर्ट और आर्मर्ड व्हीकल्स की काफी सख्त जरूरत है। यहाँ पे उन्होंने इस एरिया को क्लियर तो कर दिया है, लेकिन पूरा जो ये शहर है तबाह हो चुका है और ये रूसी कंट्रोल में है। मरिंका यूक्रेनियन कंट्रोल में है और ये चाहते हैं कि वो यूक्रेनियन कंट्रोल से रूसी कंट्रोल में आए, ताकि मोर्टर शेलिंग जो आप कंटिन्यूसली सुन रहे हैं वो बंद हो पाए। कैमरा पर्सन सत्य राउतरे के साथ गीता मोहन, आज तक।
Russia, meanwhile, continues to pound key Ukrainian cities days after announcing de-escalation from the capital of Kyiv. In visuals released by the Russian Ministry of Defense, the extent of war, wrath and destruction is captured, drained by heavy Russian missiles. Take a look at this report.
Identify, track, demolish. 2 days after announcing de-escalation and claiming to have withdrawn troops from the capital city of Kyiv, Russia continues its onslaught. The 4 videos released by the Russian Ministry of Defense reveal the ferocity of the assault on Ukrainian forces. Video 1 shows the destroyed battery of Ukraine's S-300 anti-aircraft missile system. The entire site has been reduced to rubble. No signs of human life. Only war machines destroyed by Moscow. S-300 is a long-range surface-to-air missile system. It was said to be a game changer in Ukraine, but the footage paints a different picture. Video 2 reveals the Russian air power and its air superiority over Ukraine. Footage shows the crew of the Panzer anti-aircraft missile and cannon complex. Video shows Russia promptly detecting and destroying a Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicle. Debris of the unmanned drone is then seized by the Russian forces. The third video shows a special military operation conducted by the Russian armed forces. Moscow is repeatedly striking the military infrastructure and equipment of Ukraine. Video 4, released by Kremlin, shows Ka-52 helicopters of the Russian aerospace forces destroying fortified strongholds and firing positions of armored vehicles of Ukraine. After 6 rounds of talks, there was hope that Russia would de-escalate. But Moscow continues to rain missiles on key Ukrainian cities. Bureau Report, India Today.